name's Joy, and you're welcome to the second episode of Gidi Living. With me, I have my girls,
Barbara
and
Dimma.
So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel and please watch the introduction video, and we hope that it gives you an insight to what this is all about. So today we are going to be discussing post-COVID-19, the new normal. Okay, I mean, this is an epidemic that has hit the entire world, and trust me, nobody was prepared for this, from the lockdown to the economy opening up, and basically how it has affected our lifestyle in general. So I'm just going to throw this open. Dimma, what was it like? What was the lockdown for you like?
I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life. It was difficult because I actually realized that we as people, we actually take going to see our friends for granted, going to hang out with people. They just ask us, do you want to hang out today? And then you just say, no, I'll see you tomorrow. There was nothing like that. It wasn't possible because you couldn't physically see people, and you have a situation where you're interacting with people that you haven't spoken to in such a long time, people that you lost contact with just because you're confined to a certain space. So it was definitely very, very difficult, and it was very eye-opening also to kind of, you realize who you are, what your dreams are, the kind of things you want to do.
Exactly.
So it was very eye-opening. COVID-19 for me, it was definitely eye-opening.
Wow, you just talked about an eye-opener and realizing your dreams. Barbara, is this the same for you? How was the experience like?
So first of all, let me say, I don't sound all serious. First of all, it was a time to rest. The first 2-3 weeks, I rested, I slept. It was such a beautiful feeling to know that you don't have to wake up 5:30 to go to work. Yeah. However, at some point I was tired. I was like, oh my god,
I think you gotta go tired because
I was just saying, it was a time for me to look within, to reflect on how I probably lived my life. It also helped me get on track with my relationship with God, because I saw that a lot of things I had taken for granted, I was actually now sitting back and saying, at some point I missed out on doing this, and I had to get myself back on track. So it was a time for me to rest. It was a time for me to look within, to appraise myself and look at how far I've come and what I need to do to get better going forward. So yeah, that's what
I mean, that's interesting that you talked about your faith and then relationship with God, because I think that one of the advantages of the lockdown was the fact that you tend to have that moment of solace and time, that will I say private time within yourself to meditate, to think through and all. But let's not also forget the aspect of depression and how that has really affected a lot of people. First of all, as human beings, we naturally tend to survive by just physical touch, being there for each other, seeing people. Now you're confined to your own spaces and you're not able to see the people that you want to see. I think that it was a bit daunting and depressing for a lot of people.
Yes, it was.
Particularly for those who may have lost or who have lost loved ones during this period. I think that it was quite
Quite difficult.
It was quite difficult, and I hope that that people are able to bounce back eventually. So talking about bouncing back eventually, I mean, how do you think that we are adapting? How are you adapting?
It's not been easy because you guys know I've been paranoid about the virus. The Rona situation has been really, really scary. And personally, my family, we lost a lot of family friends to the virus. And it was quite sad. And, it's quite difficult. You talked about depression as well. Having to see the same set of, I live with my cousins, having to see the same set of people. It can be annoying, and it's just like everybody's in everybody's space. But adapting to it, I mean, it's here. It's going to be here for a while, and we just need to take the right precautionary measures to stay safe for the ones that we love and the people around us, and practice safety, preach safety. A lot of people are taking it for granted. We see people going out without their face mask. We see people touching. Even though recent studies have shown that you can't contract the virus from surfaces, but we don't really know how this thing is being transmitted. But please be safe. Try and take all the necessary precautionary measures. Please.
Something that has become a norm is working from home. And not only has it become a norm, it has affected a lot of people, a lot of businesses. Businesses have now understood or have now realized that certain people's, would I say, duties,
roles,
and roles are not as
necessary.
And look, this has affected a lot of people. I speak from experience. This has affected a lot of people. So, Dima, what do you have to say about, the new norm, working from home, and the people who have been affected? How does this play out in this scenario?
As a HR person, you have to kind of break it to people to say the organization does not want you to come in.
That's sad.
Your job role is not as. It's not like it's not as important, but
it's not
it's
essential.
something you can do from
them.
home. Sometimes it's very difficult saying that to people, because then people now think maybe this place I'm not as important as I thought I was. It's very, very difficult to tell somebody that, So this period, even for me, it's a situation where you as an individual now have to think, what else can I do for myself to feel valued? What else can I do to make sure that my pocket is not running dry?
Yeah.
What else could I not have done while I was working 5 days a week that I have time to do now?
Wow.
It's an eye-opener, because it's like, okay, this is where whenever a door closes, another opens.
Yeah.
So regardless of the fact that, okay, COVID-19, we can't see each other every time, you have to, as an individual, think about, what can I do for myself to make sure that I'm still valued, regardless of whether it's my organization or it's not.
Okay, now let's talk about value, and let's talk about the economy. And some organizations have had no choice. Okay? The world came to a standstill. So some organizations have had no choice but to let people go. That doesn't mean that you're still not valid. It just means that there was nothing that they could do.
Yeah.
So how then do you adjust to the new lifestyle? Where do you start from? What can you do if you are an individual who has been affected by the pandemic, or your job or your major source of income has been affected by the pandemic? What is the next step?
So something we practiced in my company, so I'm talking as a health and safety professional now, in collaboration with the human resource department as well. There was a process to it. So you don't just break the news like that to them, because mental health is something that is still out there, and we need to address this. And we don't want a situation where we just throw people out into a chaotic state. So there was a process to it. We had to call these people, have sections with them, make sure that things at home first of all are in place before you break such news to them. Do you get me? So there were sessions that were there to find out their state of mind, know how best to communicate this to them. Also, allow them to come to meetings where you talk about, where does it go from here? What other businesses can I? There were even
basically
funds.
Carrying them along.
Yes, so basically carrying them along. There were even funds allocated to, starting off a new business, for example. There were relief materials like palliatives that were given to them as well to make the burden a bit lighter.
Let's talk about the opening of the economy.
Okay.
Right? Clearly, the state in which we were as a country, as a state, there was no way a lot of people would survive. We could see the crime rates, increasing day by day, and a lot of threats here and there. So certainly there was no other choice but to open up the economy. What are the projections? What do you think the projections are so far? How do you think we're doing? Where do you think that this is going to lead to? Do you think that we're bouncing back? Effectively, do you think that there is hope right now?
There's an inflation going. In fact, there is an inflation already. So a lot of people, as long as the economy is still open, as long as we're not back to the lockdown system or situation, people will still make money. It's just that prices, inflation, of course, will be there.
It's
and
just not the same
It's
way.
definitely not going to be the same.
And
way.
everybody just has to
You know,
adapt.
And we hope that a vaccine comes out real soon. At least that helps to, reduce the effect, cushion the effect of the COVID situation, and then it becomes like normal malaria.
2020 is almost coming to an end.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have given up, and we're really pleading not to give up, because where there's life, there's really hope.
Yeah.
But what's your last word for people out there in the midst of all of this?
There's still hope. Let's not give up on ourselves. Let's not give up on our country just because COVID-19 came. You're seeing this person doing this one, taking advantage of me. This one is doing. Make the narrative for your own life. Write the narrative for your own self. What do you want to do? Now everybody has. It might not be everyone has the time, but I'm sure there's more time on your hands now than before, because there's some days in a week where you're not going to work.
Yes.
You can sit down, maybe an hour or two, brainstorm, think about things you want to do, write it down on paper so that you don't forget. Because the truth of the matter is, when an idea comes and you don't write it down, you will forget it.
True.
Well,
Can I just add to this? So I'd like to say that our country is a very dynamic one, and there are lots of opportunities, especially for entrepreneurs. So I feel like where we see that there's a problem, there is an opportunity there.
Okay.
So try to meet that need. Like she said, take time, discover a new side of you. Okay. When you feel there's a problem in a certain area or a certain sector, try and learn a skill that could solve that problem and provide a solution. That's one way you can even diversify your income and earn better. If God forbid you lost your job or something, which is really sad, but just see it as an opportunity to pick up and move. This is the new normal, whether we like it or not. It's our reality, and we have to pick up
and just move. Well, guys, you've heard it from the lady's mouth. You've heard it. I'm not going to add too much to that. It really is a trying time, but like Dima said, where there is life, there is hope.
Of course.
And really, you just have to keep moving. The fact that you're still alive and you're breathing is a gift. So please, no matter how difficult the situation is, let's just keep the spirit high. Let's keep our faith high, and be there for one another. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay? All right. From us, thank you very much.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.